Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's lovely to have you here. Welcome new subscribers. Thank you for your beautiful comments and sharings. I love reading all your comments. They're so inspiring. So happy eclipse. This is the big one. And there's this energy that I'm struggling to describe. And last week somebody said, how are you doing? And I said, what did I say? Rested with apathy. And it was an odd energy, but there was an invitation in there. And then a couple of days later, somebody put this word on my radar, and the word is quiescence. And quiescence is the state or quality of being, quiescent or inactive, rest, repose, inactivity, the state of a thing without motion or agitation, as the quiescence of a volcano. So a volcano sits in all its mighty power, and for years and years and years, it doesn't do anything, it just sits. The condition of not being heard in pronunciation as the quiescence of a letter says, yeah. And that took me to the word torpidity. And torpid, which I've heard of but never really understood. So I go to torpid, and there it is, sluggish, lethargic, inactive, showing little interest, apathetic, conducive to sluggishness or inactivity, especially in being warm and humid. And I don't really have well, I do have a question, because again, I can't be the only one in this energy. And it's like this pause, which is just a pause and understand something else. And then it's leaning into, I can't, it's that. And yesterday I found myself asking, what is my relationship with apathy? And this whole karmic story opened up. And it goes back to a question I asked probably a year ago, what is your relationship with rest? Okay, so we're getting to the underbelly of what is your relationship with rest? How do you rest? Do you just rest the body? Can you rest the mind? Can you rest the emotions? The fire? And so I guess the underbelly of that, the revealing part of the hammock, is what is our relationship with apathy? And how can we surrender to apathy? To just explore it, to just experience it. What is this? And now I've got the 10 of Wands coming in. The burden, the burdened self. And there's a beautiful story coming out here. The burdened self that's maybe had to be some kind of way, to be some kind of goodness, niceness, kindness, and maybe doesn't want to be that way, or maybe is wrestling with being that way. And do we shame apathy? And if so, how do we shame apathy? Do we want to be seen in our apathy? How do we want to be seen in our apathy? Okay. And then cognitively, we're in this eclipse energy. It's happening today, tomorrow, total. And in sidereal astrology, it's happening in Aries. And in Western astrology, it's happening in Taurus. Which is speaking to the physical self together. Aries and Taurus in that relationship are about me, first house of self, and Taurus is the house, the container, the corporeal self. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I've gone back to a deck that I haven't used in ages, and that is the deck. Sorry, let me do that properly. That is the deck. And I've shuffled them, nothing's come out, but I noticed that the underlying card is discernment. Oh, that's lovely. So what I'm being shown is a horizontal door. So we've got rest. And then, oh, lovely. I've got a scene from Harry Potter coming in. It's the scene in, I can't remember the film, but it's the three-headed dog, and they have to go through the trap door. And then they go through these vines, and the only way to get through the vines is to deeply, deeply surrender. And then they fall through to the next layer. So that's what's coming in. It's the discernment of, what if I experience and explore apathy? And what trapdoor will open to take me deeper into my shadow self? Shadow is everything that is hidden, repressed. It's our hidden gold. And so it might be that there's gold in the apathy. Then as I'm shuffling these cards, my eye goes to the Shaman Oracle. And I shuffle, and this card flies out and makes me giggle. Okay. Yes, it is the harp playing a double bass. Joyful Muse 33. Energy is an angelic code, Christ consciousness. So it's bringing the blueprint in. It's pure inspiration, joy. So let's see how we get there. If this is a path opening up, where do I go? Let's go to these. So we have the discernment. So the discernment is going to beg us to ask a question. How do I, this is where we fight. How do I get out of this apathy and become productive in the world? Because I have an addiction to productivity. That's patriarchal society, and we're dissolving that with love. So if we dissolve it with love, we've got to do the work inside. Okay. All right. I think the story is coming straight off the underlying cards. It's the underbelly. And the question might be, what is my core resistance to apathy? Because maybe the discernment is, when I'm in my apathy, I'm reaching down into a deeper level of inspiration. And the law of correspondence is, the deeper in we reach, the deeper out we reach. As within, so without. So what is at the core? What is your relationship to apathy? It's taking me to the child's self. I've got my dad coming in, and one of his staples was elbows off the table. And it's that, you know, where the kid is probably, the kid might be in their apathy. That would have been delightful to do at the family dinner table. But there was this. There was this. And so there's this suppression of, can I just sit here and be useless? Can I just sit here and be totally lethargic, like a blob? And will you accept me in that? And will you still love me in that? It's that kind of energy. It's rather lovely, actually. It's dropping the burdens of this to be this, you know. It's in the Northern Hemisphere. This is bear season. Give me a cave and a pot of honey and leave me alone. Sit up straight. No. This is lovely. All right. Yes, absolutely. Fortitude. And where do we use discernment? With the word fortitude. Is fortitude an egoic need to please and to comply with the paradigm, the protocol? Or can we use, look at all of this wisdom, this is beautiful. Can we use fortitude with this gentle masculinity? Let's call this Mars in Gemini, retro. And stand full of wisdom and power, quiet power. And walk our own path from the heart, from the very heart of us. That's beautiful. Otters mate for life. And this is about grabbing our own hand and being our best mate. It's that beautiful. Okay. So if we speak to the eclipse, then are we speaking to a shift in perception around the paradigm we know of as apathy? There's such a moment of absolute stillness and nothingness. And there's this underlying sigh. It's that energy that this card is giving me. Look at this. Throat is lighting up. The third eye is lighting up. And this is kind of the expressive center of truth, where it rises up from the heart and the soul. And this is speaking to the inspiration. This is the going within. If I am apathetic, who am I in your eyes? Who am I in the face of that which perceives me? And does that alter my behavior? Or can I stand in the fortitude and the honesty of apathy? Or do I go to productivity? This is amazing. Oh, these cards, they've been calling me for about 2 or 3 days. Productivity addiction. I caught myself shoulding on myself this weekend. I should. And so it was a real conscious movement to drop into. Is that what my heart wants? No. Look at this inner child. It's kind of the story of, do I force you to sit up straight at the table? Or can I just gather you under my wing and keep you safe? And let's hold apathy together. Or deep, deep rest together. Rather than move towards this essential productivity. Because it's linked to the value system. Our personal value system is linked to, well, Admiralty law, really. And we are just an invoice, a bill of sale. So we have to earn our way in the world and earn our way. And this is really interesting. Really, really interesting. And the invitation here is to find balance in that. And the balance, if we bring balance to discernment, if we bring balance to discernment, then we can start asking all sorts of healthy questions about Am I in apathy? So then you check, how do I feel? What's my energy like? Where are my thoughts going? Or am I resisting bringing something into the world? Am I resisting hooking into a deeper level of inspiration? Inspire is to stand under the spire of our own temple. Inspire. And it brings me back to what I've been saying all year, is that, you know, when all of this Capricornian, Plutonian, to some extent Uranian energy has really moved through, well, yeah, I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into that. The big changes. What we will be left with as something to rely on is our intuition and our gut. You might say that this is active intuition. So this is the throat chakra opening up to speak the truth of the gut. This is the instinct. And in those critical inquiry questions, we can start to form a new perspective. And can we start giving ourselves different permission slips? And can we enjoy a new level of clarity that might make us feel a bit wobbly, a bit vulnerable, a bit exposed? Clarity is clarity. Clarity has no sense of right or wrong. It is just clarity. The discernment is whether we take action on our clarity and move towards it, no matter what. There's no right, wrong here. Right. And if we're talking about an eclipse in Taurus, then we are definitely talking about Mother Earth, Venusian energy, connection to nature. You know, and I was having a chat in the liminal, as I do, the other day. So the 3rd, 4th, and 5th was like fireworks season here, and the air smelt of gunpowder. And I had a lot of thoughts about how disrespectful the whole event is to Gaia, to Earth, to nature, birds, dogs, cats, the elderly, young children. And to how can I say this? Miasmic the whole celebration is, you know, celebrating a potential mass murderer. Whether it was right or wrong, the gunpowder plot. Really? Really? So real connection. So this is feeling a kind of post-eclipse now, is renewing alliances and deepening connection, maybe to nature. And if we're talking about nature, we're talking about the nature self, and the nature self does not conform. It's wild and free. Put down the burdens, 10 of Wands. The spirit in us wants us to be wild and free. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. This is such a beautiful message. And I've got the words, I don't care, coming in. And it's very gentle, but powerfully feminine. I don't care, but why don't you care? Wow. Well, I can barely make this card out. The netcaster. Preparations come to fruition again. This is going to be post-eclipse. I don't know what that card is telling me. Yeah. Bear with me. I've got Scorpio coming in now. Okay. All right. After the November, the big one, I had a few insights, and one of them was the word migration. I noticed the word migration. You know, when it got really noisy and we were feeling into big karmic clearing, the sacred contract came out, I believe. And the big picture is moving from karma to dharma. So from the story we were born into lighting our own path, the story we want to live, the life we want to live. And yeah, the word I got was migration, and it was like a soul migration, and I don't fully understand it yet. But the noise was literally moving, lots of energies moving, like a reassigning themselves. I'm getting moving out of torpidity, moving out of apathy, where they've been benched. And it's giving me starlight. So if I took a leap, which I'm going to, I might say that this is the migration of the karmic. This is ancestral. Is it ancestral? This is the migration home, spinning up out of the karmic cycle. That's big because that's coming out with the Wheel of Fortune. Big, big shift, collective shift. Let's have a look at these. Okay. I want to read this one inverted because this is speaking about the end of the cycle is where we're no longer, or certain souls are no longer spinning around in their karma. Because they have sublimated their ego, because it's only the ego really that gets wounded. We unplug from layers of soul. It's the ego that gets wounded, and when we work at an egoic level, then we literally dematerialize. It's the ego that makes it real. The mind and the ego make it real. That wound, that thing you did to me is real. I'm going to carry the energy and it's going to drop vibration and frequency and become a thing, a backache, a knee pain, some kind of autoimmune response as it spins down. But when we work with the ego and take the ego's hand and say, we're going on a long journey and you might not like it, then we return to spirit, plug back into soul, and we can occupy more than one space at the same time. Okay. Wow. It's the reconciled self. And this won't be for everyone. There's going to be karmic clearing to do for many, many years, but I sense it's going to change. It is changing. It is changing. Since 2017, I've noticed a distinct change in the work I do in the world. It's like it's getting faster. A person's ability to transmute their karmic wounding is getting faster. So I think that's the shift. Yeah. All right. We'll wrap this up now. There's nowhere else I want to go. What's the closing message, please? It's lovely reading. Said it. Yeah, completely. Oh. Wow, okay. Yeah, that definitely closes the reading. Stop it now. Check this. My memory, my one remaining memory cell tells me that this eclipse is happening on a triple, quadruple 16 code. Tons of 16 energy. 16 is the tower. Okay. And it's an eclipse. And can we let go of the burdens? Can we just put the burdens down? Let the shoulders drop, let the heart open, let the soul sing. And when we bellow into our empty well, the well that hasn't had enough light shone into it and might have fallen into apathy, and we can disturb that with the sound of our own voice, soul song, what will come back. Might literally be a lovely time to sing. Feast of Plenty on the 20. It's the feet of the goddess. Oh, yeah. Choices and consequences, okay? This is karma. Action and reaction. Two of Swords. It's very intuitive, very Neptunian, actually. But that's hinting at piercing the veil. Okay, so that's going to allow us to own more of our own choices and consequences. Okay, so if I spin right back to apathy, what did I do with that? I descended into it because I wanted to explore it, because I noticed my resistance was in apathy. And where is it shameful for me to be apathetic? What happened? I'm not going to tell you. Play. Okay, I'm not going to tell you. Play. Be a joyful muse. Okay. First breath. Beginner's mind. This is very much about self. It's very much about being our own benefactor. Because if we, okay, yeah, completely. It is resurrecting the disowned self. The word I got there that made me giggle was plumptiousness. And when we can resurrect ourselves and redeem our missing parts back to plumptiousness because we dared to explore their shadow expression, so we bring them back into the light, then we become benefactor because we've given ourselves that gift. And this sets up the cycle of prosperity, sustainability. Wow. Thank you. What a message. I'm just going to finish it there. This is building sustainability and prosperity by exploring the uncomfortable, which is the very essence of shadow work. But apathy, new one for me. I hope you can take something from this. You know, these energies are massive, and some of us might be really tired. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, that's it, guys. I'm going to leave you with my love, and I will see you all again soon. Much plumptiousness to you. Bye.